afternoon. Welcome to Friday and the market close, your gateway unto the weekend. Woohoo! Hopefully, you guys are all going to have a fantastic weekend. We have a red day on the market. A lot of stuff happening today, a lot of stuff. As you've probably saw from the title, IT chaos. Well, let me say, there was a security update on Microsoft last night that pretty much caused a global IT outage. So I am sure you have heard about it. Some places it was bad. Some places even 911 wasn't working. There's a lot, and Microsoft, I think it's about 70% of systems on the world is running Microsoft. So it far-reaching. So we're going to talk a bit about that today. We're, of course, going to talk about the market, what's going on. We're going to talk about what's happening 1 week from today, because that's pretty darn good. We're also going to talk about what's going on right now with Bitcoin, because it's moving up a little bit. And I'm going to pull up the chart here. All right, let's pull up the chart. That is not Bitcoin. That's the TSX. We were doing some stuff last night on the channel member exclusive live stream. So let's pull up Bitcoin and take a darn look. We're on the day chart. I'm just going to switch us back to, normally I'm on the 1 hour chart. Here we are. Now here's a beautiful thing. Before I start fixing things, if you guys remember that line on one of the, I think it was on a this week that we put down and we were watching Bitcoin explode. Well, look at where they are compared to that line now. Holy banana bread. All right, let's make this look a little bit more viewable. All right, here we go. Bring this down. I want those candles a little fatter. There we go. That's about right. All right. So we have had a very big day in crypto, but the rest of the world, not so much. Look at the TSX in the red. It's down. Well, it's not down a lot. It was down quite a bit earlier, but it has been rallying towards the end. And right now we're down 0.03%. And I will tell you, there is a chance it could get back to the green. There is a chance I might have to change that sign. So we'll check that out as we go. The S&P 500. Now they're going to stay in the red. They're basically almost a percent down, a 0.73 down. Nasdaq 0.73, and actually, considering what's going on with tech, I'm surprised the Nasdaq is only down that much. Gold is down 1.87%. Oil's down 2.57%. And of course, as we know, Bitcoin, you can see it over here. It's up just over 5%. So that's not too shabby. Now, if you're thinking the reason Bitcoin's up is because of the IT issue, not really. There's another bigger thing that happened last night that is really impacting the price of Bitcoin. A certain 90-minute speech by a certain Donald Trump that actually is impacting Bitcoin today. So we'll definitely talk more about that. But let's go to that heat map. I was going to say, this looks really good. But last time we were here, we turned off all the red. So let's turn that red back on. And you can see it's like about half. It's sort of like what you would expect for an overall flat day. Now, some of the banks are down. Some of the banks are up. What can I say? I think the worst is, Scotiabank is down 0.85%. The best, I think it's BMO right here. Yeah, up 0.39%. And when we look at, let's see if there's anything else. Well, the railroads are both up a wee bit. Enbridge is up. So yeah, that's not too bad. Up 1%. Loblaws up 1.73%. Now, Loblaws, they've got their earnings coming out in the next week. So that should be fun to watch, because If you've already watched today's deep dive on Loblaws, you'll know they've been doing really well. So I have a feeling they're going to have, I think their earnings are going to be great. I think they're going to be great. So that will be something to watch for sure. Looking at our, once again, we turned off the red. Let's put it back on. Same kind of idea in the in our ETFs. We got a little bit of red in here sprinkled. We got a few things that are just down a little or just up a little. What can we say? XEQT down a tiny bit more than VEQT. So VEQ Vanguard is winning that battle. All right, let's go over to the U.S. market. Now it's a little bit more different. We get a lot of red. Tech absolutely in the dumps. Other than Apple is up 0.17, but look at this. NVIDIA's down 2.66. AMD's down. You got Amazon down. You got Tesla down 3.98%. Microsoft is down. Google's down. Meta's slightly up 0.09%. So what can we say? What a day. All right. Now get ready. Get ready for some green this time. Crypto is looking absolutely great. So Bitcoin, well, it's only at 4.97 now. It was just above 5, but you know, that's going to be moving all through the weekend. But look at Solana over here, up 6.93%, Ethereum 2.74%, and we're probably only weeks away from getting spot Ethereum ETF in the US. So that's pretty exciting. Dogecoin up over 5% as well. And there's a lot of random coins I've never heard of that are up too as well. So let's go explore. I'm going to come way down here. All right. There we go. I'm going to pick one of these greens. I can't see what they are, but this is going to be my, let's go way down here. We're going to pick this tiny one here. I have no clue what we're about to click on. It's the P network. The P network. So what is the P network? Is it a bunch of people that go to the bathroom together? I don't know. I've never heard of it. It's the P network. Not doing good. Not doing good. I mean, they used to be 27 cents, but now they're worth like not even a cent. To me, that's like have you ever been to have you ever seen like a heart monitor when people die? It sort of looks like that. So P network, a coin I will never ever invest in. I don't even know what they are, what they do. You guys can throw that in the chat if you know. If you don't worry about it. To me, it's pretty much a dead thought. It's a dead thought right away. So there's about 14,000 coins out there that we have absolutely no idea what they are. But let's, you know what? Just for giggles, let's do a second one this time. It's the weekend. Why not? We'll pick one. Oh, we'll pick this. Oh, this one here in the corner. Maybe we've heard of this one because it's a little bit closer to the outer band. But let's see what we got. EOS. I'm pretty sure I have heard of EOS. I don't know what they do, but I know I've heard the name. All right. So they at one point were up at $1.25. Right now they're down to 61 cents. So there's still a little bit of life in this one. Still a coin I'll never own. Never own. But that's EOS. I'm kind of missing Brett and his cat. But anyway, we'll leave that be. That's your crypto. Let's get to the chat. Let's see what you guys have got going on over here. Holy banana bread. All right. Jackie was in. Whoops, here we go. Jackie was in first with a hi, everyone. Happy Friday. And Jonathan, after his first week of work, is saying, not late at all. And you're not. You absolutely were in here before the show started. Stands in with a good day, everyone, or a good day all. We got Paul saying hello. We've got Mary in the house saying good afternoon. She's also saying hit the like button because it's hit the like button, Mary, folks. You got to do it. You got to do it. You don't have a choice. Paul says MSTR doing well today, up 12.8%. So that there is, of course, MicroStrategy. And, well, Bitcoin's pumping, so is MicroStrategy. They have so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet that If Bitcoin's having a good day, it's impossible for them not to be having a good day as well. So that's not too shabby. And if you're into, whether it be MicroStrategy or if let's say you're into the CDR for MicroStrategy, you're having a good day. Also, keep in mind, MicroStrategy is going to be doing a 10-to-1 split soon. So that's kind of exciting too. Prairie says, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. We got good vibes in the house. It's hard to not have good vibes in the house because it's Friday once again. Mario is in with a good afternoon. And we got Enid. Enid saying, good afternoon, everybody. And Mario is saying, drill, baby, drill. Yes. More of those things coming out from, there's a lot of stuff that came out of the Donald Trump speech. And the drill, baby, drill. Oh, yes. So Donald Trump, if he's elected, and right now it looks like he's the front runner for sure. He wants to start drilling big time. He wants to really start pumping the oil out of the U.S. So that could be really interesting. What will that do to the price, though? I mean, if he starts pumping out like crazy, that could actually have the backwards effect of lowering the price of oil. Especially if everybody else sort of maintains the same. If OPEC doesn't do cuts at that point, you're looking at a lot more supply. But it also depends on what he does with it, right? Maybe initially he refills the strategic oil reserve. That would be nice. But we'll have to see how this is going to look. The other big thing, of course, is, Donald Trump made it very clear that he is pro-Bitcoin, pro-crypto. And the market's reacting to that. The market is big time reacting to that. So there's no doubt that if he gets in, he's going to have a very positive attitude towards Bitcoin, and that's good for the overall crypto market. And as you guys saw, it's good for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is rejoicing with this right now. Everything is feeling good. If you're a Bitcoin investor, you're feeling good today. You're feeling good. Or as Paul keeps pointing out, MicroStrategy. So add some MicroStrategy to the 0 to 100K. You know what? After their split, I probably can. The problem is where we have a limited amount of money each month going into that, I'm kind of limited in that share value price. So something like, for example, CNR is pretty expensive. So that when a month where I buy a stock in CNR, that takes up most of it right there. So that is kind of one of those things. But after the split, yeah, I'd love to on the American account. I'll add MicroStrategy. I'll definitely do that. All right. And Paul says MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin proxy. Goes up more than Bitcoin and goes down more than Bitcoin. HODL for the ride. Yeah, absolutely. And we did look at that. Was it on I think it was on this week. MicroStrategy has gone up. I think Bitcoin was up about 40% and MicroStrategy was up about 127, if I remember my numbers correctly. So that's huge. That is absolutely huge. Oh, and I took a glance at the clock. We have like 1 minute, 15 seconds left. All right, while we're waiting for that, next Friday, open to close. We're here. It's that 4,000 sub celebration stream. It's gonna be epic. Yeah, I'm getting excited thinking about it. And here's the beautiful thing. There's a chance. Basically, it'll rely on you guys. If I open up an opportunity for a Monday stream, and let's do it today. Let's just do it now. We get 4 supers before the end of the stream. We get a Monday stream. We'll do it now instead of Sunday. Simple as that. And here's the beautiful thing. If we get that Monday stream, that will make the Friday open to close live stream number 200. Simple as that. So it would be kind of a real special thing to sort of throw on top of it being a special thing. So it's almost like it will be special squared. So I'm I'm kind of looking forward to that. So yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's have that stream on Monday. Um, and then, yeah, it'll be very, very cool. All right. It is time. All right. Woo, there we go. The market is closed. We are now officially into the weekend. And there's a few of you who are probably shaking your head going, why didn't I take out my earbuds in time? I apologize. I apologize. It's the weekend. You know how it is on Friday. I have a little bit of extra oomph for that bell. So, we certainly go ahead and do it. Al Bundy is in the house with a hola. Hello, Al. Good to see you. Al was at the last night. We had the channel member exclusive live stream. Al was there. A whole bunch of people were there. It was actually a lot of fun. So definitely one of those things. If you're not a channel member and you want to check out some of those things, um, absolutely do so. There's a couple of ways you can do it. One, if you just subscribe, you can come, you can check it out. You can even check out all the old ones. They're there for the taking. If money's tight, and you know what, money is often tight these days. Then first Sunday of every month, I give away 10 memberships. I think I ended up giving away 11 last time. So you have that opportunity. And the way you can get that membership, the free one, is just being active in the chat, hitting the like button, on videos. Just the more active you are on the channel, the algorithm will tend to grab you first. You also have to make sure that you have free memberships turned on. So something that is important, as we can see here, Paul has been a member for 7 months, which is fantastic. Now, you get one of these every month. So this is like a super chat. It's not technically a super chat, but it is. So you can basically put whatever you want on it, and you do get a free one every single month. And when we get busier, and I keep talking about this, and we have been getting busier, especially on this week. A lot of times now on this week, the chat starts to get heavy that I have to sort of skip some of the internal conversations between you guys, just for the simple reason that, otherwise I fall too far behind. But once we get to that point where I can't do every single message, I will simply, what I will simply do is, if it's a super, or if it's one of these channel membership ones that you get every month, they'll get sort of put right at the top of the pile, and I get little notifications up here. I should get a notification. I don't see one up there right now, but I normally get a notification up there so that I know it is there, but I'll keep my eyes open on that. And eventually, if we get really big, I'll start looking for moderators as well. Because then if I miss something, I can, a moderator can just sort of whisper to me and let me know, hey, this message here is really, really good. Check it out. So that's coming eventually. We're not there yet. We're still small enough. I think that, I think I can handle everything. So that's fantastic. All right. And Paul says, I tried to type a message, but it would not work. Really? Let me try, because I have one of those. I don't know why it gives me one. I'm just, it's not like I'm subscribed to me, but let me just pull it up and I'll see if mine is working. Oops, let me go here. All right. And it's called the free membership milestone chat. I'm just going to say hi there. And we'll send. There we go. And we'll take a look. Yeah, see, there it is right there. So it shows hi there. So it works. It does work. All right. And we get that first super. There it is right there from Paul, $1. From the Google opinions. I think that's what it's called, Google opinions. So there we go. 3 more. And we do have that Monday chat, and that pushes our, not pushes, but it makes our open to close next week, the 200th stream. So that's going to be fantastic. So I'm actually looking at a little bit on the format on how I'm going to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is for each hour, I'm going to sort of create like a little bit of a theme, and then we'll go that route. Of course, depending on what you guys want. This is a beautiful thing because we have to fill an entire an entire day. That's a perfect time to come in and ask me to do complicated hard stuff. So that'll be cool. I think it's going to be absolutely epic. Absolutely. There we go. Weird, that worked. And yes, I had enough balance to pay for the super chat. Nice. There's a lot of ways. There's a lot of ways you guys can make little chunks of change on the internet. Not to say that, make it, not that I'm sending out an army of you to make make little money and then send it to me. Yeah, that would make me like your pimp. I don't want to do that. No, but there's different little things you can do. One thing that's kind of cool, and I do this myself sometimes, is like Amazon Prime. You can opt on to be like one of their reviewers, and sometimes they'll send you a TV show that is gonna come out that's sort of still in production, and they'll get you to just watch the episode, answer a couple of questions, and then they'll send you like a $20 gift card. So for Amazon for that. So there's a lot of these little things that you can do. Of course, over on Blossom, you guys thought I was going to forget to mention Blossom. I almost did. Over on Blossom, they do have the pay and learn features as well, where you can watch a short little 5-minute video, for example, on like a BMO ETF, and it'll give you a little bit of education and plus exposure to that ETF as well. And they'll give you like, it's not much. I think like 50 cents or something for each one, but you can do a whole bunch of them and you can sort of start racking up a little bit of money there. And you can pull that off, drop it right into your bank account if you want. All right. And let's see here. I have to go now. Getting ready for work in 55 minutes. Well, have a fantastic shift, Paul. And thank you once again for that super chat. There we go. Ian says, live stream next Friday. Were you saying we could join in? How would that work? Yeah. So if you want to join in, there's many ways we can do it. What we would do is I would sort of, I would need to know your availability. So for example, if you only have a half an hour you're like, okay, well, I could join during this little tiny block. I would have to schedule you in that way. So I would send you a link ahead of time, and it's for StreamYard. So with StreamYard, it doesn't like a lot of browsers. It tends to work really well in Chrome. So I usually say come in through Chrome, and you get a couple of options. If you don't want your mug, like if you want to just talk, you can do that. What would happen in that situation is, well, let me turn off my camera, and I will show you here. Let's see. Stop mic cam. Here we go. Okay, that I hit the wrong button. Okay, so what you can do, for example, is you can turn off the camera. So you don't have to have the camera on. You can just have your little icon here, and it'll like, do this little wavy thing as you do what it is you do. So you don't have to. But I mean, if you're okay with being like on the air type thing, yeah, absolutely. Come in, we'll talk about whatever you want to. It's a good opportunity as well for some of the community to actually start to put some faces and that to everybody else. So yeah, it is open. You don't have to be an expert. You can just come on and you can actually just come on and just chat, or you can come on, ask me questions, all of that fun stuff. So yeah, that would be fantastic. If you want to do it, just send me an email. What the best one to use would be admin@mountainfinance.ca. And I think there's a link on the YouTube to that as well. So that's kind of, that's not my personal email. That's my work email. My personal email, you're likely to get lost in because let me tell you, the amount of spam that comes in my personal email, it's like crazy. But what can I say? All right. Yeah, and you have the day off. That was one of the you were actually Ian, you helped me decide the day. Because when you mentioned you had that day off, I was like, because otherwise I might have been doing it today. I was just like, okay, yeah, let's do it because I know that you have the day off. I believe, I think it's either JJ or Prairie has the day off. So there's definitely some folks with that day off. I was just like, okay, well, I can at least get two regulars, who kind of want to see it. Let's get that going. So, all right, Ian says. Al, I tried to do it, but it looks like I can't tag anyone. Oh, interesting. All right, and Al's teaching Enid how to tag. Fun stuff. So it's actually kind of interesting. Sometimes you get tagged in things you just don't want to get tagged in. In my case, it's usually family stuff. So sometimes something happens in the family and I get tagged and I'm like, no, because then quite literally I get notification after notification of everybody who even does simple things like likes it. And I'm like, no, please don't tag me. But they do. They do. There's nothing I can do about it. It does happen, so we'll leave it at that. But there is something going on in my family right now where I'm being bombarded by messages, so that's never a good thing. Never a good thing at all. All right, we will look probably in about 5 minutes. We're going to take a gander at the market for the last time. I did want to, before we do that, I wanted to touch more on the outage. So some of the chaos that's been happening. So with this, and it's actually a company, I think they're called CrowdStrike. It was their security package that pretty much completely botched up Microsoft. And you might be thinking, okay, well, Microsoft came out a little bit later and said, okay, we got a fix for it. We're okay. Problem is that fix has to get deployed. And here's the thing. It's not something where they can force the deployment onto your system. So, your system has to sort of it's going to have to be updated one way or another. Now, there are situations where there are devices, and there's devices that run Microsoft that you would never think of, that there could be more issues with getting the deployment rolled out to. One great example is some of the railroad, some like on the railroad, some of the track switchers are run by these little boxes that have a version of Microsoft installed on them. So there could be a lot of issues. So this could actually turn into quite a pain trying to get it all resolved. Now, one thing, and this is funny, going back to crypto, somebody was going on about this could affect our banks. This could be bad. And a senator actually spoke up and said, well, Bitcoin's okay. It doesn't run on Microsoft. So I thought that was kind of funny. But, it is kind of, we talked a little bit about Black Swan events because we had one last weekend. This technically is, it's not as big. I don't think this is as big, but it could be. The potential there is that there are systems that are running Microsoft that people may have to manually go out and update. And some of them are in like remote areas. These are like little boxes and things that are running software that, people may check in on them once a year type thing. So there is definitely a lot that we're running into with this issue. I don't know the full ramifications. I don't think everybody knows it yet, but we're starting to find out. We're starting to hear a little bit now. Luckily, though, for the most part, luckily it didn't bring down like the entire internet or anything like that. So for the most part, like I think up here in Canada, we're mostly, I haven't personally run into anything that has been a hindrance for me. Other than, well, when I was uploading the pictures for this week on for Sunday, it was taking a little longer than normal, but that could have been anything. That could have just been normal network traffic. All right, let's take that final look at the market, and we'll see what is going on there. Hold on, I'm going to click over to the actual market because otherwise, you're going to get the infinite me, and we'll try not to do that too many times. All right. So once again, well, look at this. It did not happen. So the TSX did not make it back to the green. So TSX finished 0.16 down, S&P 0.71 down, NASDAQ 0.93 down, gold is down 1.89, silver 2.11, WTI 2.57% down. Bitcoin still looking strong, up 4.78%. And we can see over here, we have a red candle finally, but it's early in the hour. This is an hour-long candle. It's got lots of times. And I'll tell you, if you look at some of these wicks here, it's done this type of thing all day. So it's still doing good. Now, it's funny. I did hear somebody predict that by the end of the week, Bitcoin would be up around 70K. So we'll have to see. It's looking pretty plausible right now. So we'll see what the weekend does to Bitcoin. You know, we'll check it. We can check in, of course, on Sunday. So that's going to be fantastic, I guess. Our heat map, once again, still a lot of red in there. There's just not a lot. Well, there are some. Well, let's do this. Let's get rid of the red. Let's get rid of the red. You know, we'll live in a world where everything is nice and green. So we got a few different things here. Let's see here. IVN seems to be... Nope. There is Go Easy. Go Easy is up 3.35. Oh, no. This is exciting here. Quebecor is up 5.73%. So that's not too shabby. Nice little move today. So, and of course, Quebecor, for those of you who are not familiar with them, they're Canada's fourth national telecommunication company. So, you know, cell phone provider, because they, after purchasing Freedom, they now have service from coast to coast. Not the best service, because if you looked at Freedom was really good in the cities, but once you got outside of the cities, not so great. But this could be interesting. I do think Quebecor is a good company. And actually, Quebecor was not the winner. I missed somebody. Fresh. So Fresh Factory, look at them. They're kind of a penny stock. Well, they are a penny stock, but they had a good day, 6.25%. We won't take that from them. All right. Heat map wise for the ETFs, pretty much looking the same. And you'll notice down here, we got a couple things. Like here's cash. You know, cash. It's not going to, it's always going to be on this whole trajectory, up, down, because the whole idea, once again, is to be, right here, around $50. And then, as you move towards, we'll go to the previous month. So here it was $50. Then by just before your ex-dividend day, it went all the way up to 17 cents. So, and then comes back down to 50. That's just a normal trend on a cash ETF. So fun stuff in the market today. US, once again, a lot of red. Tesla made it down to 4% down. Even McDonald's even McDonald's is down a little bit, 257.28. So what can we say? Yeah, it's and that's a funny thing. I think McDonald's is one of those companies that they do really well over the summer, because you get a lot of drive-through business, people just out and about. You go to the beach for the day, you're coming home, you're hungry. Do you want to bake? Do you want to cook? No, you probably don't. You're going to go to McDonald's. So that happens. And here's and this is their B. So Berkshire Hathaway B. So this is the more affordable version. So 434, and they're down a little bit, but look at this. They had a nice pump, and now they're just down a little bit. So not too shabby. That's one that if you still want to get in on, you can. Berkshire A, you're not getting in on that. Not unless you have very deep pockets. And then crypto, once again, nice green day. I like it. I like it. It looks good. It looks good. And we have, we've got a lot of green in the market, as you can see. All right, let's switch back over here to Discord for a moment. And here is our schedule coming up. So just so you guys can sort of see what is happening. Let me just turn the edit on because I always like to get rid of what we've done here. And technically, there we go. Oh, I didn't put this one in here on Discord. That's on me. So yeah, up next we have our July 21st. Sorry, there we go. This week. And you know what? I'm going to tentatively put this in. Whoops, I guess I messed that up. Let's go back to this one here. I always got to remember to hit option. All right. So Monday, I think that is July 22nd. There we go. 3:45 p.m. Bonus market close. I'll put it in here. I'll put 3 question marks for now. We have received 1 of the super, so we still have 3 to go, but right now it's still, we'll put it in there as a thing. All right, let's just hit enter on this. Now, of course, somebody who's not watching the stream and they see the question marks, they're going to be like, what does that mean? So I probably shouldn't have did that, but we'll leave it like that for now. All right. So yeah, but here it is. Here's the big one, the big event, July 26th, 9:15 to 4:15. That's going to be, yeah. And here's the funny thing. If at 4:15 when the markets close, you guys are in here and you are just pumping in the chat, that 4:15 may not be carved in stone, right? It could go to 4:30. It could go to 5. I don't know. But we'll find out. We'll find out. So it's not too shabby. It's not too shabby. We'll see how that's all going to look. All right, let's get back to chat. Let's get back to chat here. Let's see, where were we at? All right. Holy cow, you guys have really started to put a whole bunch of stuff in here. I'm really far behind. All right. Okay, let's see here. All right, here we go. Ina says, I put in an order for a crowd to buy 10 shares at 260. All right. Just entered an order, not an option. Okay, so a limit order. She put in a limit order for, and that's not a bad way to go. I mean, especially if you have a volatile, like if something has a really large beta, sometimes it doesn't hurt to sort of look at the price. And it's like, let's say, for example, it's 275 and you're like, oh, well, I'd rather get it for 270. This thing goes up quite a bit, up and down quite a bit. It doesn't hurt to throw it in for 270, put in a limit order and see if it comes down and hits it. So, because you never know. All right. How long? Good until canceled. So I think 90 days. So there we go. Alice saying, you'll go broke going to McDonald's nowadays. I've heard things have gotten pretty expensive. So I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the price of things are at McDonald's, but I think now that the smiles are no longer free, I think you got to pay like a quarter for a smile or something. It's gotten bad. It's gotten bad out there. Prairie says, anyone log into Wealthsimple via the web? I can access Wealthsimple via app, but not via the browser. Yeah. Samar says, am I late? A wee bit, but that's okay. I didn't realize Wealthsimple was accessible on the PC. It is. Absolutely. Enid says, Wealthsimple desktop is working for me. Your favorite Starbucks did well. Ooh, that makes me, that reminded me of coffee. I want some coffee. Here we go. Love the coffee. Wealthsimple is okay on my desktop. Wealthsimple has a 1% matching offer sign up bonus. Nice. I have to keep that in mind for the future. Also, keep in mind, too, that there's usually a limit. So you have to keep your funds within Wealthsimple. I think, is it a year? For those of you who've done this, I think I think Ian may have done it, actually. All right. Sammer says, the downside of BTC ETF is it doesn't work on the weekend. Yep, that is a bummer. So last Friday, BTC started to rise after the bell. No time to buy it. That is the truth. It's kind of one of those things. Sometimes when you're looking at the ETFs, because you're looking at something that does, run 24/7. And I mentioned this before when we were talking about pros and cons of getting Bitcoin opposed to an ETF. That's one of the cons, is that Bitcoin is doing a lot of stuff right now, and it will be doing things all the way through the week. See, you were cloud striked. There we go. Let's see. I spoke with Brandon Beavis, and he said that it was timely because he was talking about you and wanted to confirm where you were from and would like you to attend a Blossom event. He was apologetic it wasn't in Ottawa. Okay, that's funny. Here's the funny thing. I actually, when I was making the thumbnails, or not the thumbnails, but the little pictures I use in this week, one of them was a beaver. So, and for whatever reason, the AI put beaver on the shirt, and I was looking at it, and in the back of my head, I said, I should call it Brandon Beaver, just because, it sounds a little bit like Brandon Beavis, but I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I find it funny because it's funny sometimes. Like I hear like, so and so, whether it be Brandon Beavis, Canadian in a t-shirt, we're talking about me about something or other. Sometimes I find that funny, like because I remember starting out not that long ago, and these were the big people that I was like, my God, they probably will never even know I exist because I'm so small. But yeah, it was kind of. I'll actually, it's funny with Blossom, the way it happened, and this was like, what was it? 2023. Was it April? I think it was April. One day, I just opened my email, and there's an email from Brandon Beavis in my box. I'm like, what? So I read it, and it was just like, he's like, I've been watching what you've been doing. I'm really impressed. I'd like to have a conversation about Blossom. I was like, okay. So, at first I was almost thinking, is this a scammer trying to trick me? But everything looked legit. So, I reached out and said, sure, let's have a conversation. And we did. We had a big conversation. And, for me, one of the surprising things is just like, okay, I didn't realize that Brandon Beavis watched my channel. So I was like, okay, that's very cool. So but yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Brandon's awesome. So definitely good. And there is talk, not so much. I don't know if Brandon can make it, but one thing is Max, the other partner for Blossom. He did say that he's looking at doing a couple smaller ones, and he's hoping to do a smaller one in the fall in Ottawa. So that would be really, really interesting. So if we can get a small one in the fall, no promises, but I have a feeling we can probably get banana bread in a t-shirt to show up. So in other words, Canadian in a t-shirt. I'm sure he would come. I think it could be really, really good. So for those of you who could make that in Ottawa, that would be fantastic. But we'll have to see. I'm hoping it happens. I'm definitely hoping it happens. Ian, in response to the 1% with Wealthsimple, says, I did it. Now I have to keep my Wealthsimple account at this level or higher, or I lose my bonus. Okay. But for how long? How long is that for? Is it just 1 year? Ian says 5% grace, so 95% of current levels. Okay, that's good that they've got a grace. Well, you kind of have to have a grace because the market has this habit of moving. Prairie says, let's see, congrats on working towards that level. You have to keep it for a year at least. That's what I thought. King of Day is in the house. Hello, late, but you're here. You're here. That's fantastic. So yes, 1 year. Very, very cool. Wealthsimple doesn't have a USD account though, right? No, it does. So the way it works with Wealthsimple is you have a Wealthsimple Pro, and I believe, as far as I know, it's about $10 a month, and that will set you up with a USD account. Or if your balance is over $100,000, you get it for free. Simple as that. Now, that's one of the reasons I really like National Bank. National Bank will give you a US account, and it doesn't care how much money you have. So that's kind of one benefit of National Bank over Wealthsimple, because here's the thing too. With Wealthsimple, if you have the USD account in there, you still have currency conversion fees when you're moving money from one to the other. And as far as I know, you can't do a Norbit Gambit over at Wealthsimple. I know you can do one at Questrade. You can also do it at National Bank. And Norbit Gambit, that's, once again, that's just a way of basically buying some Canadian, basically some Canadian stocks that you then move to the US version of that stock. You know, and that way there you're moving the money without the conversion. But it is, it's a good way to save. It's a good way to save for sure. So in a way, if you're having a US account, I would almost, and here's the thing, you don't have to just use one broker, right? I would almost say, you know, well, you have, like I said, you have Questrade, but you're still paying a commission on Questrade. But National Bank, you're not. So that might be an option if you want to have a US account in addition. So that might be something to look at. Or here's the thing, even with Wealthsimple, if you move it all, once you've moved the Canadian money into the US account, you're just leave it there and you're fine. You're not paying commissions. You know, everything that all the dividends you get paid are being paid in USD in that account. So it's not too shabby. Mohammed says, hi, Candace and everyone. What's your thoughts on Air Canada and Nokia? All right. So Air Canada, and we've looked at this before, but let's do it again. Let's do it again. I'm going to bring up good old Air Canada here. Let's see here. I don't need RMAX. I don't need the whiteboard. I don't need UMAX. Here we go. We'll come over this way. So good old Air Canada right here. There we go. So currently they're sitting at what, 1707. So I'm going to pull up the we'll start off on the 3 year. So as you can see, Air Canada has had, actually let's go to the 5 year. So Air Canada at one point in time used to be pretty not expensive, but you know, they used to be up $45 in that area. Then we had the pandemic. So the pandemic dropped Air Canada to an insane level. Gosh, I would have loved to have bought Air Canada at $12.45. And it took it a while. Like, it stayed low for a while, but then it did make a little bit of a move up, came back down a little bit with the bear market and all of that fun stuff. So the way I look at Air Canada right now is this $20 mark for me is a magic mark. So if it's under $20, it's a buy. It's an absolute buy. And a lot of people might say, and a lot of people will say, well, come on, Candace, look, it's normally up around 45, up, you know, $45 to $50. Look at that. Well, you know, to keep themselves afloat. And, you know, one of the big things they did is they diluted a lot. So for them to actually get back up there is going to take, it's going to take a lot of cash. And they just don't have that market cap or the possibilities of that level of cash for a while. So this is unreasonable. This is absolutely unreasonable. But when you look down here, this here is reasonable. You know, and this here is like that 22, 21 area. And they do try to get back up there. So now at this point in time, because you got to keep in mind too, this here is a 100% growth stock. Like if you look down here, you'll see that there is no dividend. So anytime they're under $20, for me, they're a buy. at that point, because they're going to come back up probably to 22. I could even see them going up to like 25, or in some cases here, they made it as high as 30. But I don't see them going much more above that. So if you're looking at them long term, so if you're looking long term, long term, sure, these numbers, is like right now, I'm saying I don't see them going much above 25. But you look out 3 years, and maybe at that point they could even get to 40. Maybe this is total optimism, but at this point in time, anytime they're going to hit up above 20, it's a good time to sell and just let them move back down below. So this is the type of thing with them. If they're below 20, great time to sort of DCA on their lows. Then when they're above 20, it's probably a good time to DCA out, just to take them profits. Because from what we've seen right now, it's the volatility, the swings is from about 17 to 25 over the last, pretty much since the pandemic. So that's probably going to last for a while. All right. Nokia. I don't know. NOI. Just going to see here. I don't know what their ticker is off the top of my head. Sorry. NOK. So Nokia. There we go. That's what it is. All right. So Nokia, of course, being a U.S. stock, let's bring up their 3-year. So as you can see, they've been moving down steadily. But what have we had in here? We've had a bear market. We've also had higher rates. That has not been good on telecommunications in general. So if we go back further to 5 years, you can sort of see they used to be, well, not too exciting, but they used to be mostly the flat. So they are down a little bit. They're down quite a bit from where they usually are. If we go back 10 years, you can sort of see at one point they used to be pretty, well, yeah. This is a company that it doesn't come off as being super healthy. So Nokia is one of these companies that, I don't know. I have a feeling. Let's go look here. I don't expect to see a really great return on equity on these guys. And let's take a look here. And they're not even reporting it. So I don't even know what their return on equity is. So, but they are at least in the positive. So they do have an earnings per share. So they're in there. I would be a little more hesitant with Nokia. I would be more optimistic about Air Canada. Absolutely. All right. Let's bring back Big Me. Jersky says, hello. Good to see you. Al says, okay, thank you for letting me, Candace. I think I will go with Wealthsimple. I have millions. Then okay, you're fine then. You're fine. You gotta love that. I love an investor who's like, yeah, I got the money. Don't worry. Let's see. I didn't know about the 100K wave fee. Yeah, absolutely. You get pro for free if you have more than 100K in Wealthsimple. MP says, what the heck has been up with DRX? So DRX. It has been dragging down my portfolio, but I still have faith in it. Remaining bullish on this one. I'm in the same boat. MP. Well, let's bring this back up here. All right. DRX. All right. So that's your ADF group. I call it the DRAX group too. Now they are a British company, and they have they've not been having a good time lately. Pretty much since I bought them. They've been on the way back, and they've been going down since I bought them. But let's go to the 1 year. They have had a fantastic run of it. And this pump here, this is probably more of an aberration, this pump up in here. And a lot of people, including me, I bought in on this pump up top. So here's what I'm doing. I still have a lot of confidence. I like this company, and I think this company is going to still do well. We're having a correction. That's fine. So what I have been doing is I have been looking at adding some more. So in the 0 to 100K challenge, I have, and I will tell you guys. Let me just double check here. I'll get the number here. 0 to 100K. Let's see, DRX. Yeah. So I've added 7 shares this month of DRX, because I am I'm averaging it down. I'm taking my adjusted cost base, I'm pulling it down. And I wouldn't do that if I didn't have a lot of confidence in the company. That's why I'm absolutely doing it. So yeah, I'm absolutely awesome with that. Yeah, and Enid's saying the same thing. Yep, my DRX is at the ground level too. Not sure why. Not sure why. It's basically a correction. I mean, and I think, as I said here too, if you were to just knock that part off, then you could see it as just being a regular correction. It's just that when you look at it from that point, it looks much worse, more scary. And that could very well have just been a temporary spike. I don't know if it was like due to an earnings report. I can't remember exactly. But this is a bit of a correction. I think they're going to right the ship and they will be fine. But that's just something that we have to sort of keep in mind with this one. All right. All right. So Amvas spoke with Michael Kovacs, the CEO of Harvest, and he is open to be he is open to be a guest for YouTube Investor Live Show. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I like Michael Kovacs, and I do like Harvest. So yeah, I think that would be kind of interesting. I think that would be fun. So yes, the HTA total returns are impressive, especially since CC, which I'm interested in their strategy. Yeah, no, I think he would be good for the YouTube Investor Live Show. So that would be fun. Now I did get back to you. I know I was late getting back, but a lot of stuff going on. But I did get back to you on that, and probably August. I think I could definitely squeeze it into August if we could set something up in there. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. Let's see. And Al says, I glanced at DRX. The EPS looks a little low. Well, let's go back. Well, we still have it up. We're going to take a look here. So yeah, we're getting an EPS of 1.46. So let's take another gander here to a couple things. We'll go into the key data. They have a very, they do have a dividend. It's not big though. It's not a big dividend. But these are some of the other things I do love. Like right now, their return on equity and their return on assets are both healthy. Very, very, very healthy. So I am liking that. So yeah, as I mentioned, their dividend is really low. It's a semi-annual, so twice a year. That's kind of the interesting thing. Now, go back here. Now they're the Canadian listing for a British company. And they are, we're looking at engineering connections, fabrications, industrial coatings. So this is something that I think is going to be big. It's going to maintain. There's always going to be a demand for it. So I'm still pretty bullish on this company. I think they're going to do well. It's just a lot of times people look at stuff and they were like, okay, things aren't going in the direction we want right now. But yeah, don't worry. If I lose faith in this company, I will certainly tell you guys. But right now, I haven't yet, and I am, I am averaging down, so I'm okay with this one for now. Obviously they survived the rebalance, so I'm going to put that out there as well. They may be in the red. They may be in the red for, the rest of this year. Who knows? I don't think they will be though. But I still have a lot of faith in them. Let's see. Take a look at NNE, please. Recently IPO and rally since. Okay, we'll do that. NNE. And I know that you guys have requested this one for a deep dive. So Nano Nuclear. Love the name, right away. I love the name. Now, I've not looked into NNE yet. But from that name, I'm going to assume they build some of the smaller nuclear plants. Some of the, I don't know if you call them modular, but let's go straight down and see. Let's see. Nano Nuclear Energy is early stage nuclear energy company developing, smaller, cheaper, and safety advanced portable clean energy solutions. These are going to be huge. Absolutely. You may have already sold me, and I haven't even looked at anything. But let's take a gander. All right, let's look. We'll go to the 1 year because it sounds like they haven't been around for a while. All right, so they IPO'd at $5. They're up to $19. Wow, that's pretty darn cool. Let's go into their key data. Now, because they're brand new, we're probably not going to have, yeah, exactly. We're not going to have anything. I have no clue of the return on equity, return on assets. I don't know what level of debt they've had to take on so far. So that's not fantastic. But I can see where there could be a desire for this. I could definitely see where there could be a desire for this. Oh gosh, I don't know if they would have. Let's try something here. Let's see here. I don't know if we can get any more information over at Simply, but you never know. NNE. Let's see. Yeah, nanonuclear energy. All right. Ooh, look at this. Revenue is forecast to grow 68.97% per year. That's kind of crazy. All right. Now earnings are forecast to decline. Oh, that's not good. But that can also be a side effect of growing, right? Makes less USD in revenue, has less than 1 year of, yeah. See, and these are some of those issues that are definitely there. Now, I want to go in. There may be nothing here. Let's see here. Well, we do have a little bit in here. We do have their debt. So currently they're listed as zero debt. That's not too shabby. I like that. They're off to a good start. This is, you know how I talk about that play money, where if you're going to take a gamble, use it with play money. This is probably one of these ones where it wouldn't hurt to look at it. So yeah, this is not too shabby. I want to take a look here as well. Let's see here. Going to go into their valuation. We don't have any kind of. All right. Price to book ratio 84.8. The PE ratio -80. So that's not good. But and part of it is a lot of times with some company that is this, this small, you don't always have the full picture. Like if they're growing and they're putting everything into that growth, you can get into a situation where, check out these earnings right now, negative 7 million in earnings. So that could be okay. But at the same time, high risk. I do love what they're doing, but high risk. Oh boy, high risk for sure. I can't wait till we get more data though behind this. It'd be great to see, even a year from now, to see how this one is doing. I do think that nuclear is going to be a huge role, especially some of these modular ones, these smaller ones. There has been talk about bringing a lot of those into Ontario, so it's not too shabby. I think there's a lot of potential here, Sammer. A lot of potential. All right, but there's still a lot of risk. It is still technically, it's not a penny stock, but it's brand new. We don't have a lot of data to work with, but definitely an interesting one for sure. Vineet says, hi all, happy Friday. Happy Friday to you as well, Vineet. Hope your day is going well. Bedford Metals Corp, BFM, probably classified as a penny stock, but I read an article on this company and it sounded promising. They're located in Vancouver. I think they will explode even more. Well, let's take a look. BFM. All right. Whoops. And we were talking the other day about CDRs, hence the reason we are there. Oh, right over here. All right. BFM. So here we go. Bedford Metals. So it's on the venture. 219, so penny adjacent for sure. Well, let's take a look here. So, they've been doing really good lately. They've been kind of hanging out. But if they're into mining, and I'm going to assume they're mining. Let's see. So acquiring, exploring, and developing mineral properties. So yeah, that makes sense. And they also have the Marguerite gold property. So kind of cool. But that does make sense. With the price of gold going up, a lot of these companies are riding that wave. So that could be good. The big question, and this is the big thing, if you're a small company and you're riding a wave like this is where you should be utilizing that money to its fullest. So for example, I don't want to see a lot of debt here. I want to see that some of your money's been going into that. I don't have that data. Oh, wonderful. Right now, return on assets in the negative. So, oh gosh, I'm just wondering here. Do we have? I have a feeling they might be in the negative earnings wise, but they're not reporting it. So it's another one that I have a hard time, like probably because I do a lot of fundamental analysis. So I have a hard time going into a company that there's so many missing pieces in the puzzle. I'm one of those people that if there's even one piece missing in a jigsaw puzzle, I'm not going to put it together. I just won't do it. But yeah, in this case here, yeah, there's a lot of missing pieces. It's really hard. I would approach them with a lot of caution. Not saying to stay out. I would just say have a lot of caution with them. As long as gold pumps, and it is expected to pump the rest of the year, you are probably going to get some more price action to the upside, I think, on this one. But it's a gamble. It is a gamble. Let's see. There's an annual fee for for National Bank. There is an annual fee if your total balance is under 20,000. So they waive it if your balance is 20,000 or higher, then you don't pay that annual fee. And I don't know exactly how much it is. I don't think it's a lot, but it is one of those things that 20,000 and above, you're not paying the annual fee over there. All right. And so Sammer bought some BFM a couple of weeks ago. So far, so good, but still a gamble. Yeah, it is a gamble. What can I say? It's one of those situations like, and gambles sometimes pay off. Sometimes they do, but sometimes they don't. That's the whole situation. When you're going into a gamble, you kind of have to sort of think of it as a gamble. Whereas when we go into things where the fundamentals are all good, it's still a game of probabilities, but you have better probabilities going into it. It's great to invest in a stock where probabilities are saying that it's probably going to perform well. Instead of one where it's like, it could go either way. I don't know. We don't have enough to really say, is it going to go up? The biggest thing we have for like BFM is that gold is predicted to continue to do well. So that's fine. But one of the things that won't help us with is, if something like, let's say, for example, there was a mine collapse at their main gold mine. We have no control over things like that. So that's why sometimes with a bigger gold company, if they have multiple mines and they have a well diversification in their assets, then one mine, if one mine goes under, has a collapse, or runs into a governmental issue with it for whatever reason, then you're not going to take that hit as bad on the share price because they still have the others to sort of average things out a little bit. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, we're getting closer to the end here. So let's start thinking about them final questions and get those up. Also, keep in mind for the Monday stream, because we're doing this today, we still need 3 supers. We got 1 earlier. So if you want to do that, that'd be fantastic. Oh, more uranium. I do like uranium. Let's see. They also deal in uranium, which is needed for powering AI, apparently. Well, uranium is also... if we go back to NNE, they probably are using some uranium in those little reactors too. So I think there's going to be a huge demand for uranium. So, like I have talked, I think I've done some videos on one of the uranium royalties we touched on as well in a video. I think that's going to be cool. I think that's going to be big. Right now, though, one of the issues is the latest German government has basically put the kibosh on Germany's nuclear ambitions, because Germany was gearing up to move a lot more into nuclear, and then the new government came in and they're like, no, nuclear's bad, let's get rid of it, and they started decommissioning things. So not good Germany. They're and what they're doing is they're getting rid of nuclear, and they're putting most of their eggs into the hydrogen basket. So let's hope that works out for them. Appreciate your thoughts of the new TRVL ETF and sector. Thanks. Let's take a look. I think that's for some reason I'm thinking that's a travel, because I remember that I think I saw this before. I went and looked at it and I was like, yeah, travel. I can't believe it. Here we go. So the Harvest Travel and Leisure Index ETF. So we're now in that time of year where this is the type of business that does make a lot of money over the summer. So let's take a look here. Let's look at the last 6 months, and you can see it is starting to peak up a little bit into the summer. So this one might do well over the summer periods. If we go to a full year, yeah, you can kind of see here it's coming out of last summer. Yeah, it has a chance. It has a chance for sure. What is the actual? I don't know if there's what the distribution is on it. That's weird. Maybe there's not one. So it might just be a straight up growth. Yeah, so it's a harvest one. So there is, yeah, there's definitely a chance. Now, if we look, now this is an ETF, so we don't usually get a lot of information in here, but in this case here, we do have a return on equity of 30.75%. That, on a stock, that would be super impressive. On an ETF, it's just, that's okay. That's okay. Because, a return on equity, return on assets are not really as useful on ETFs as they are on stocks. I may still report them, but they're not as useful as they would be. But it's still nice to see. It's nice to see the positivity. It's nice to see that it's growing. Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to sort of see how it does. I think it will do fine. I don't think you can expect your really big returns, especially when it comes to total return. I don't think you're going to get massive returns on it, but it's going to be a situation where, it's one of these ones that I think going into a strong season, if you get into it, you might be able to get a little bit of a pump out, a little bit of a return on it. Not a super exciting one, but it's not a bad one. It's just, like I said, when you look at it over, and we'll just do the 1 year, there is growth. There definitely is growth. But, well, here, let's do this. Let's go to, all right. Well, the 10-year doesn't help that much. So, because they only came into commission they came into existence in 2021. They had a nice pump, and yeah, then they've been going down. Pandemic, they've been doing better since the pandemic. But that's not even the pandemic here. That's 2022. So that's going into the bear market. Oh yeah, they started in 2021. Duh. But it almost looks like that pandemic drop. So woo, kind of interesting. But yeah, we went into the bear market. So I'm not even sure what caused that massive drop at that point. So there must be some catalyst there. But they have been doing a little bit better since then. They've been moving back up. But here's that thing. This is one I would watch. I mean, if you did invest from the beginning at 19 to 25, that's not a bad total return, to be honest. But if you invested anywhere in here, your total return is not super. It's still okay, but it's not super. But if you invested down in here, holy banana bread, you've done well. You've done well. So that's not too shabby if you invested in this trip. It would be, I would like to see, I think this one here is like, I would be cautious. I think you'll still make some money, but I would love to see more history so I can get a better feel for how this one is going to move. But yeah, I don't foresee it coming back down here. I think this is a sector that has been looking at more recovery, but it's also a sector where they don't have as many employees as when I say employees, I mean as in, they don't have all of their jobs filled. So there tends to be a little bit of a labor struggle still in that sector. But yeah, would have to see. And I'd also like to see if are they only investing in in Canadian leisure, or are they also looking at US? So I would want to know that as well. So just something to keep in mind. Another interesting thing I heard Donald Trump say last night is he was actually talking about no taxes on tips. So that was interesting. And I was like, oh, that is kind of interesting. Um, I'd love to see that here. I think that would be really good for people who are, service workers. Then if they're not paying any taxes on it, that would certainly help make up for, um, some of the pay inequity that we have in when it comes to some of the lower end positions. But that was an interesting idea, I thought, and I was just like, I've never heard anybody ever say that before. So definitely an interesting idea. All right, let's bring back Big Me. All right. Enid says, I'm down almost 20% on my uranium ETF. Oh boy. Yeah. And that is one of those things that is difficult. So once again, I don't think we could have foreseen that Germany was going to start getting rid of reactors. So that certainly hurt uranium a little bit. But I do think long term that will rebound. So that's one of these ones where you kind of have to look at your faith level, right? If you are following the same kind of idea that I am, that's one where you may want to say, okay, well, I'll maybe DCA a little more into this one. Average it down my adjusted cost base because I do feel long term we're in good shape. So that is one of those ideas with that one. But the other thing too is, I mean, sometimes things don't recover. But I think with a uranium royalty, I think you're gonna, or this one is just a straight up uranium ETF. Okay. Yeah, I would look at it. I still think it should recover. But now let me ask you this, Enid. What is the ticker on that one? I'd love to look at it just to see what's going on with that one in particular, because I don't know exactly which one we're talking about. So I'm just sort of talking in generalities around the uranium as a metal, of course. All right. So everybody, it's time to get your final questions in because we're coming to the end. It's almost, I think it's getting closer to supper time for those of us on the East Coast. Does everybody in the country actually say the word supper? I think some places they actually say dinner and they're like, supper, what's that? But anyway, kind of a cool thing. I am curious about one thing here. What has Bitcoin done while we've been talking? It's actually looks like it's correcting a little bit. Well, maybe not, but we're still hanging out here at 4.72%. So still not too shabby here. All right. URC. Oh, that is the royalty one. Okay, perfect. Just give me a second here. Where the heck am I? Oh, I'm on the, we were looking at these screeners last night too. So that was kind of fun. All right. Let's take a look here. URC. So yeah, so this is a royalty one. Good. I'm glad it's a royalty one. All right, we'll go back to the last 3 years. So as you can see right now, if you bought up here, yeah, you're down big time. So it's still down. It's one of these ones that it's gonna take a while. I think it's kind of sometimes with a commodity, and this is the nice thing with commodity. Uranium is never going to go out of commission type thing. So I still like this one. And I think this may be the one I did the video on. I still think this is going to be, it's going to turn itself around. How long though? That I don't know. You got it at 453. So let's see here. 453 is right about here. So it looks to me like you probably bought it recently when it was peaking up in here. So yeah, that's never a good thing when that happens, and then you get and it goes back down. So you got a couple of options along here. If you sit on it, you will probably get another peak like this down the road. That's kind of a normal thing for a commodity. So you could either, if you have lost faith in it, you could always set up a sell order for that amount and get out and wash your hands. That's fine. There's tons of things that you can invest in. Obviously, right now, if you invested in a gold royalty, you'd be doing better because gold right now is really, really pumping. But I still think long term, I really have a lot of faith in uranium long term. But that would be one option. The other option, too, is depending on how much you have into it, you can always take a loss. But I personally wouldn't. I personally would ride this out. That would be what I would do. and then decide. If you have a lot of faith in it, then you could sort of average down. If you don't have a lot of faith in it, then maybe look for that exit if you get back up again. But yeah, it's one I would ride along. So, and Enid, keep on bringing this one up. Like even a few months from now, if you decide to ride it along, so we can take a look and we'll just see how it's progressing in that direction. Because I think there's definitely I think there's a good chance that we'll see a little bit of recovery. Now, with this one here, they shouldn't have a lot of debt because it's a royalty company. Royalty companies tend to be not too much debt. Like they're not even reporting any debt. Like they're reporting nothing here. So we don't know what their debt currently is. But I'm guessing it's not that much because you don't have a lot of overhead for it. So just something that that goes on. Al says, I think Canada uses supper. I am going to guess UK uses supper. People thought I was weird using supper when I first moved to the US. Yeah. Well, here's another thing. So when I was in Florida one summer, I was working briefly at the University of Florida, in their Gator Gear section. So I went up to this girl and I asked her for an elastic. And she looked at me like I had an extra head on my head. She's like, a what? I said, I need an elastic. She's like, what's an elastic? And I'm like, I'm like, I'm thinking she's trolling me or something. But so I had to explain. I'm like, okay, it's this little stretchy thing. It stretches and pulls back. And she looked and she says, oh, you mean a rubber band? I'm like, yeah, an elastic. And apparently, at least in Florida, they just call them rubber bands. And I was trying to explain. I was like, no, we've always been calling them elastics where I come from. And she was like, no, that's something that's in your underwear. I'm like, well, yeah, they have elastic in them too. So it was just kind of funny. It's that whole thing. There's a bit of a difference between Canada and the US. All of that fun stuff. All right. Let's see. Al says, I didn't realize elastic was another different word. Yeah, it's just I don't know why. It's just one of those things. We always called them elastics. And but I mean, I'm familiar, and that's a neat thing. Like as a Canadian, we're usually familiar with all of the American words for things that are a little bit different from Canadian. And that's because we all consume a lot of American TV. So it's like, you take an average Canadian, they probably know more about the U.S. government, more about the U.S. and how everything works down there than an average American would know about how it all happens in Canada. So, there are Americans down there that think there's igloos in Canada. Although one different thing I did see is when I was in Nova Scotia once, this car pulled up next to me, and it was an American couple, and they were wanting to know how to get to the South Shore of Nova Scotia. And so I told them, I said, follow the main signs and, explained where to go. And they said, oh, good, we're looking forward to it. And they're like, are there a lot of palm trees? Oh, I was like, palm trees? Well, yeah, we're going to the South Shore. That's palm trees, right? I was just like, no, not that I'm aware of. So it was kind of an interesting thing. The first time some Americans thought there were palm trees in Canada. Now, if you go to the West Coast around Vancouver, there are some palm trees there. But those, I think, they've been brought in. They've been brought in and planted. So, they're not natural palm trees. They're still palm trees. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see. Al says, I saw on Wikipedia a few days ago another difference that I forgot about. Okay. I'm not sure what it is then, if you forgot about it. All right, guys, we are at the end. So you got your last minute questions, drop them in. We'll go from there. Let's see. When you guys type in things in sequence, do you guys use a comma in front of and at the end of a sequence? It's kind of a funny thing. I used to always do the comma. And it's true. I'm looking right here. I'm looking at this. That looks wrong. This looks right. So I do the comma, but I I think there's so many people. I see so many people do it this way, but it does look wrong. It does look wrong. Yeah, I prefer it this way. I prefer it this way. Comma, put the comma in there. Yeah, it makes sense. And what I also do is if I'm doing a more complicated list, I will use semicolons instead of commas for that list. So, for example, let's say I was listing a group, some people's names, but in the middle, one of them was a pair of people together. So let's say Joe and Judy. I would probably, let's see here. Let me type this down. I would probably go, let's see, now Bill, Frank. Oops, let's do it this way. Bill, Frank, and then all right. I did not capitalize names on this. I probably should have, but I would do it sort of similar to this. I'm just throwing it into chat right now. So I would do like Frank, and I would then, and I don't know why, but when I won't put an and inside of a list if it's not the and that ends the list. So I would always use an ampersand where Joe and Judy are, coming together in that situation. So that's kind of how I would do it personally. But yeah, so Enid is saying no comma before and after. Mary's saying thank you. Thank you, Mary. Always appreciate you guys. Al says I always did without the comma. Then I went to the US and they said I did it wrong and I needed a comma. So yeah, but keep in mind too, I've gotten over this, but I used to always try to write things the American way. So I would not put those U's in. Center would be ER instead of RE. I did that for the longest time. And I think a lot of it is that, I used to do a lot of writing and my target audience was the US. So I wrote American. I went with American spellings. And it used to annoy people on Facebook. Every so often I'd get a comment from at least a few people I know on Facebook. They were like, color has a U in it. Don't do it American style. Or in some cases, don't do it Yankee style. I'm just like, seriously? And the funny thing is, I'd have to teach my computer all the spell checks to not mark the American spelling wrong, because it will. Like right now on this computer right now, if I leave out the U, sometimes I'll even put it in automatically on me, and I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. So I've learned to get over it. I've gotten over it. Funny Book says Oxford comma. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and there's that thing I had wrote just a moment ago. All right, so now I do a comma before and, but I was looking up an article about Canada on Wiki and they didn't use a comma, and it reminded me of a Canada versus USA again. Yeah, exactly. Well, nowadays with the young ones coming up and not even using letters anymore, using emoticons and things like that, just having words is almost the bar now that for you guys to hit. King of Day says I always use commas after a but and a comma after and when it's more than two sequence. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, if you're just doing like and night and day, I wouldn't put commas either in that case. Yeah, because that makes sense, because it's just two words. But if it's not technically a list, it's more like a friends, that fun thing. All right. So we didn't earn the money. We didn't earn the Monday show, but I really want the Monday show, so I'll probably just give another chance on the weekend when we do this week, because I kind of want that final show to be 200. I really kind of want that. So we'll go from there. But for now, guys, enjoy your weekend. It is here. Have a fun one. We'll see you Sunday. I can't wait. The show, I think, is going to be fantastic. All right. Until then, everybody, I am going to... let me go big. Let me go big for this. I will bid you guys a fantastic weekend. Take care. We'll see you guys Sunday. Bye, everybody.